Welcome to this Mantium tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to analyze Slack conversations with Mantium. My name is Blessing Adesiji and I'm a developer advocate here at Mantium. Let's get to it. So in this tutorial we're going to learn how to import messages from specific Slack channels. We're also going to perform transformation to aggregate the text, and we're also going to add the summarize text transformation to be able to generate summaries and then synchronize the data. So at the end of this tutorial, you should be able to do all these to understand different Slack conversation and summarize them. I'm going to navigate to the Mantium platform, and the first thing I'm going to do is to add a data source to be able to bring in the Slack data into Mantium. So navigate to data source at the left navigation bar and then click on add data source. We have a couple of data sources here. We have from files, PDF, PPT, Notion, but in this tutorial we're going to work with Slack. If you're interested in working with other data sources, please do check out our documentation page. I'll leave the link in the description below for more tutorials on how to work with different data sources. Click on Slack. I'll add the Slack connector. As you can see on the right side, I have a couple of Slack connectors already existing in my own account. If you haven't connected to Slack, you can click on connect to Slack and select the channel that you want to bring the data from. I'll click on connect to Slack, and Mantium will navigate to the OAuth page where you give access to Mantium to be able to access your Slack workspace. Right here, I'm going to select a particular channel to bring in the data from that channel. On this page, all you need to do is add a data source name. So we're going to say Slack tutorial for YouTube. I will leave the Slack credentials as it is, and then the rest of the information, then click on save and test. So this will start a job which we are going to wait for to get completed. To make use of this data, the next step is to create custom data set. So I'm going to navigate here and click custom create. Provide the name, which is Slack data set. We can also give it the same name, Slack tutorial YouTube, and then click on save. Notice Mantium has auto selected where the data is coming from. We are going to wait a few seconds for Mantium to complete the synchronization job. Now we have a custom data set and we can perform different transformation on this data set. So understand that for you to be able to perform transformations, you need to create data set from your data source. So now that I've created a data set from our Slack data source, I'll navigate to transform, and then I'll add a couple of transform to be able to transform this data set and generate summaries. First transformation we're going to apply is combine rows. So we should be able to combine the rows based on the time of this conversation. Combine the rows, and to use combine rows basically aggregates data from multiple rows into a single row. It does this in similar operation to the SQL group by operator. So if you're familiar with that, it will be very easy for you to understand combine rows. But if you aren't, we have documentation, detailed documentation on what the parameters are and how to use them. So I'll navigate back to configuration and then add what we call the row group identifiers. So we're going to select the type day because we want to combine all the dates to a particular day, and the column for that is the TS human. You can navigate back to confirm that TS human actually have the date information. So you have the date in full format here, and want to grab the day information from that. So I'm going to say TS human as well. We have type to be day, the source column TS human where we have our date information, and then the destination column is TS human. So what Mantium will do is combine all the rows for that particular day, and then we'll have everything in the destination column TS human. So you have all the information for a particular day on one row, for another day on the other row. So we're going to change the source column to text. The reason why we're changing the source column to text is that this is the column where we have our text information. We have the conversation here in this column, and if you navigate, you see right here we have different conversations on the Slack channel. The next thing to do is select the destination column. So the destination column is the column where we have our transformed data. So you can leave it as combined data, or you can give it any name. I'm just going to leave it as combined data. Then the next thing I will select is concatenate. Concatenate is a combiner function. What that means is that we're going to combine all the conversations of a particular day into a row. So the next transformation I'm going to add is the summarize transformation. I can simply click on this button, the plus button, to add another transform. So that will create a new transform, and then we're going to add the summarize text transformation. Although you can perform this transformation independently to be able to understand that, and that's what we're going to do, so that I show you the combination result, and then we'll summarize the combination result. Hit save and run transform so that you can run this particular step, and then we're going to run the next step after this is completed. Like I said previously, you could decide to combine all these steps together and run them once, but I decided to split it and run them independently to show you how both steps work. So here I'm going to add the configuration. Again, if you don't understand how this transformation works, we have different documentation to guide you on that. So configuration, don't forget that the source column this time around is no longer content, it's combined data. So I'm going to remove content and select combined data, and we're going to have a summary column. That's the destination column, that's a new column, and then we're going to select this large language model, which is the GPT 3.5 model, to do the summarization. I'm going to add the prompt template, which is sort of the prompt that would guide the large language model on how to perform the summary. After you've provided the prompt template, you're going to enter the credential ID, which is the OpenAI credentials. If you don't understand how to add this, I'll provide a link below in the description to guide you on how to do that. Click on Save and Run Transform. Finally, our summary is ready. We have different summary for different conversations. So let's pick one conversation, and you can see the summary of that particular conversation. It says a developer reported issues, and it goes on, and that's the summary of the conversation that happened on this particular date. In this tutorial, we've been able to import messages from Slack channels and aggregated the text using the combine rows transform, and then generate summaries using the Mantium summarize text transform. If you need any help building, or if you need any help going through any use cases, scan this barcode to join us on Discord, and I'll be there available to answer more of your questions. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Catch you in the next one. Bye.